These chicken gyros and shredded beef tacos are simple, delicious, and utilize the whole griddle, which is why they're recipes you'll actually make on your griddle and not just internet trends. I got my Blackstone turned to medium. The goal is to get between 375 and 400 degrees for this cook. Check it with my 2-in-1 ThermoPro thermometer. Put down my chicken breast, which I already cut into cubes. You could do a whole breast, then cut it afterwards, but I just find this easier. I took the easy way out. I also like it cubed because I can spread them out so they're not touching each other and make sure all the pieces of chicken get a good sear on them. It's kind of like your kids in the backseat of the car. You know you don't want them touching each other. Like, he's touching me, he's touching me. You're like, I'm going to pull this thing over and no one's getting McDonald's if you don't stop. Anywho, this is a pack of 3 chicken breasts, about 1.25 pounds. And after I diced it up, I'm marinating it in some Greek dressing. You can make your own marinade if you'd like, but my wife and I really like this. It turns out fantastic each time, and it's super easy, so I'm not gonna mess with it. 2 hours in the fridge. You could also use thighs for this as well, and I even did one here where I used chicken tenders because they're on sale and I can't pass up a good sale. Back to the griddle. We are about 5 to 7 minutes after they've been sitting there. I will start to flip each piece of chicken. Some of the ones on the outside I'll move closer to the middle because it's hotter. You can just tell how my Blackstone is seasoned, that it doesn't get as hot near the edges because it's blacker towards the middle and lighter towards the outside. My wife and I have fond memories of Gyros when our son was little. We'd take him to this fast food Greek place and eat inside because no one was ever inside and you could just kind of let him run around, and he was only 2 at the time. So, I mean, I don't know if you've ever taken a 2-year-old to a real restaurant, but it's a lot. Like, it's just a lot. You can see I got good color on the chicken. Some of them might even got a little darker than I thought they would. We'll check the temp again with the probe part of the 2-in-1 ThermoPro thermometer. This is why I love this thing. I get the surface temperature and the meat temperature. I got a link in the description if you want one. Move all the chicken to the corner. Scrape down the griddle. I should have grabbed my scraper, but I forgot, so I did a mediocre job with the spatula, like C+ at best, to be honest with you. I then wiped it down with a paper towel, a little bit of oil, and down goes the pitas just to warm them up and kind of like fry them. I got these from Meyer. They're actually called Kontos Euro bread, so I don't know if that makes them not pitas. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the difference is. I just know I really like these and I would highly recommend them if you can find them. Because I did a poor job scraping the griddle, the pitas got a little darker than I wanted because it was still kind of dirty. The time I did it with the chicken tenders, you can see here, I put them on the clean side of the griddle where the chicken never was, and they just got more like kind of toasted and warm. So, you know, learn from my happy accidents. Scrape the griddle down real well, or just make sure you save a whole side without the drippings on it for your pitas. But you got to warm them up. You just have to. So after they are done for about a few minutes on each side, I'll put them in the foil to stay warm, and then we'll assemble this gyro. First, let me show you the homemade tzatziki before we finish these. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of times I buy the pre-made stuff if I'm just doing a cook real quick on a weeknight. The fresh recipe on your screen, however, is way better than store-bought. I just don't always have time to, grate a cucumber and then like death squeeze out all of the liquid from it. So check this recipe out, but I'm not judging if you buy some pre-made stuff. So I got the foil down. Sorry for the glare. Pita is down, chicken, then some shredded lettuce, tomatoes, red onions. I like to slice these as thin as I can. I don't want the onion flavor to overpower the meal. Everything is betta with some feta cheese, then the tzatziki. Fold it up, crimp the back of the foil, and then we'll peel back for some deliciousness. Now we're not done. If you watch the channel, you know there's a standard of white plates and very, very classy side dishes. I've done cheese balls, salt and pepper vinegar chips, but today we went with French onion sun chips. Oh yeah, that's right. Living the high life now. One of them in top just for good measure. These shredded beef tacos were the best ones I've made on the griddle yet. They dethroned the tacos dorados, which were my previous favorite. It all starts the night before with a 3-pound chuck roast. This one is boneless, but you could get a bone in if you want. I pat it dry and sear it real quick in the cast iron before going into the crock pot. The sear is optional, so don't feel like you have to do that. To go with it, in the crock pot we have 1 cup of beef broth and 1 tablespoon each of oregano, garlic powder, cumin, chili powder, and dehydrated onions. Onion powder works as well. I just had the dehydrated one, so whatever. That's what I used. Then we also have 1 can of chipotle peppers and adobo for that smoky deliciousness. The link to the full recipe, which is on my website, is in the description. And don't forget that my website is full of just griddle recipes and all the basics of griddling too, like seasoning, rust removal, temp control. So anyways, we'll go ahead and cook this for 8 hours on low. I did this the night before and had them for lunch the next day. But you could totally start this in the morning and then come home and make them for dinner. That's another reason this is a great recipe. Now, through the magic of the internet, we'll time travel 8 hours into the future for some delicious fall apart shredded beef. I separated the juices out so I could find the whole chipotle peppers that were in there and remove them. You don't have to do this. You could have just shredded it all together, but I thought it was going to be a little too spicy, a little too much for my wife and I, so I took them out. Also, as I shredded the beef, I tried to remove as much fat as I could. My wife politely told me later that I did not, in fact, remove all the fat from the beef, so just keep that in mind, fellas. A little free marital advice, remove all that fat. Then I dumped the juices back into the crock pot because we were going to need those, and out to the griddle we went. You want to be around 350 to 375 degrees on your griddle for this one. Put down a tad bit of peanut oil, about 1 tablespoon. I think the next time I would do more, maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons to really get a good fry on these tortillas. It still turned out great though, but I think that would have made it better. Now you're going to take a 6-inch white corn tortilla and wipe them right across the top of the beef in the liquid in the pot. The fat should have come to the top, and that's what you want on the tortilla to try to help fry it when you throw it down on the griddle. Do both sides, and again, we're just wiping it across the top of the liquid. You don't need to stuff it and drown it down in there in the beef. Just wipe it. I did 12 and had tons of beef left over. I mean, I bet if I used all the beef to make as many tacos as I could, I'd have over 40 tacos, maybe more. I cooked them for a few minutes on one side, then I flipped them before I started to fill each taco. I don't know if this is necessary to cook both sides of the tortilla, but I did. First thing down is the Chihuahua cheese. I think that's how you pronounce it, like the dog. I'm not sure. I'm an idiot. Maybe it's wrong. Don't quote me on that. Anywho, don't be shy with this dog cheese. Put a lot on there. No one's ever been like, hey, there's too much cheese on this for me. If someone says that to you, they're toxic. You just need to get them out of your life, okay? You don't have time for that kind of negativity. Now, to the beef. I didn't measure, but I'd say I did roughly 2 ounces or 1/4 cup of beef per taco. Put the beef on 1/2 so that you got room to fold the whole thing over in a little bit. And then after you go through and you fold over every single taco, you're going to let them cook for another 4 to 5 minutes per side. They were on the griddle for a total of probably 15 to 20 minutes if you're counting from when they first hit and then the cheese and beef and filling them up and flipping them and stuff. You just got to kind of feel it out until it gets the color and crispiness you want. That thing in the corner is a plain cheese quesadilla for my 4-year-old son. There's no way he was eating these tacos. Honestly, they're pretty smoky, and I don't even know if he's going to eat this quesadilla, to be honest with you. Lately he's put himself on a strict mac and cheese and plain cheeseburger diet. Alright, we'll take a quick peek inside one of those tacos, and holy smokes, that's what dreams are made of right there, folks. Plate them up, then take them inside for the toppings. Wait a minute, I can't be using a paper plate. Here we go. Whew, I almost got kicked out of the White Plate Water Buffalo Club that I recently joined last week. This is more like it. So, all of them are on the white plate. Inside, for the toppings, I had onion, lime, cilantro, pico de gallo, pickled reds, and some sour cream. I just did mine with onion, cilantro, and lime for the first one. It did not disappoint. Oh, a little juicy, watch out for that. If you want all 101 of my recipes, grab my ebook, which is also in the description below, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. It's only $15. If you want to see that Tacos Dorados recipe, well, that's also on your screen now. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one and keep on griddling, friends.